So today I had a meeting with a person that has ADHD, and we got to talking about time management and how difficult it is for people to keep tabs on the things that they're doing, especially if they're in a transitionary period of their life, like being a student or, just dealing with the chaos of life, which I guess everyone does, especially in this day and age. So I thought that I would come here and talk a little bit about time management, how I do it for myself, which seems to be working. And it would for anyone, because it's just a system. It's a framework that you can use to organize your life. I'm all about that stuff. How much time do we actually have in a day, Because prior to implementing this, I was more of a go with the flow, live in the moment kind of person. You wake up and then you go to sleep and then everything happens in between and there are some things that you need to do like eating and work or whatever. So there is not a lot of free time that you have. And if, even the things that you have to do, it's good for you to put it down, even for just once, just to see, because our brains, they are meant to create. Yes, we have memory, but if you look at the biology of memory, it's more attached to strong, powerful feelings, and not structural thing. That's why our brain actually creates habits so that there is a structure in your mind that conserves energy. So if you have a structure in life as well, then everything just becomes so much easier. So the way that I generally large umbrella structure my time is by year. Because every end of the year, I have these 2 weeks at the very end of the year. I have kind of like retreat into myself and I make sure that I look back into all of my year and stuff, but that's just big things. So right now I'm talking about the monthly one and underneath, just because it's the most useful one. But just to let you know that there is a yearly planning as well that can go behind this. That is another different tier of knowing thyself and structuring your life. And of course there's a 10 and the 15, but I am a 1 year at a time person these days. In these moments of great change where nothing is for certain. For starters, what I like to do is have an actual calendar. I have this on my wall, and it's from BC's Wonderful Wildlife. It's actually a very special calendar for me because I have a picture in it. I won a contest to have um, my picture in this calendar. Here, I'm so sorry that you can't see it very well, but it is what it is. Anyway, I highly recommend having an actual calendar that you can write things on because then it's on the calendar. You can see at a glance. It's kind of nice to have things that you do by hand, It's just, to me, there's a quality to actually doing things with your hands and creating in the material world. Even though I really, really like technology, as you have seen already so far. But yeah, basically, if you have a calendar, you look at a glance exact more or less how your month is going, how your week is going, and you can see how far you've come. And then the next step is one tier down. You measure your weeks, and this is where we use Google Calendar. For me, as you can see here, I have my morning ritual that I like to do. I like to hydrate and meditate, and then maybe look at the birds outside and just breathe in the fresh air or whatever, Make it a little ritual if you want. If you want to do anything else as well, it just really helps me wake up and it kind of sometimes helps me remember my dreams, which I find very interesting. And then after that, I have like a cardio and yoga session that I do just to kickstart my body. I'm not very good with keeping up with this because I have a very hard time starting cardio in the morning, but I know that it makes me feel so energized afterwards and it kind of like kickstarts your day with a lot of energy. And then after doing yoga after it, just to calm me down, and just to make sure that blood is running through my body and like it feels very complete when I do this. I feel like I can really check that habit off my habit tracker, at least the exercise one. And then, of course, getting ready. This, if you stay ready here, it's from a Dolly Parton quote that if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. And my queen is right. So get ready, do your skincare, whatever it is that you want to do. Take some time for yourself, look at what you have to do through the day. Just like make sure that you are ready. And then, of course, breakfast and starting work. And that's when you kind of go into your zone, right? From what I gather from research, you have like 3 to 4 hours that you can really, really focus. And of course, this can get better with practice. You're also supposed to have mini breaks in the middle, like 5 minutes for you to just walk around. I don't know if anyone here uses the Pomodoro method, but it's like 25 minutes and then 5 minutes off, or 50 minutes and 10 off. And then I just kind of go for a walk around here, look outside, drink some water. And it really helps keeps you focused. I'm very much trying to hone my focus these days because of course I use social media and of course I have fallen prey to doom scrolling, which I now call hope questing, but you know, it's not good for your brain. That's not how our human biological bodies are meant to operate. Our technology also, we really have to consider that our technology has skyrocketed so fast, and our biological bodies move with evolution, which is like generational, right? So we are not meant to consume this much information, to expend this much dopamine, to have consumed so much stuff and so sparkly. Cave cave people who had a stroke, just like looking at one of our memes. Anyway, this is what I do, deep work, and then after like lunch, and then in my afternoon I have multiple things that I do that I haven't really allocated any time to. But all of your personal projects or a skill that you want to learn, highly recommend always being learning new things, keeping up with what's happening. The news, you don't really have to do too much. Make sure that you are focusing on your vision because the world is kind of crazy right now, and I really don't blame people for losing motivation when looking at that stuff. It's just very negative vibrations, quite literally, like very scarcity mindset, war, poverty. There's tons like climate stuff happening right now too. So focus on your vision, be aware of that stuff because that's important, but make sure that you are focusing on you, focusing on the high vibrations of because we need that so badly, so badly. So if you could be one of the people that spreads your light however way you can, I am very grateful for you. Another thing that I like doing that has been very helpful for me has been habit tracking. When you look back, it just becomes clear. It just becomes clear how well you're doing or you're not doing. And then, for example, there was a period of my life that my social was very low because I wasn't really going out or doing anything with people at the time of the pandemic. And so it was always on the red. And then you kind of can see when you're feeling, like a little bit lonely. It makes sense. It makes sense based on your pattern of behavior. So, for example, for me, you can see here that I have been doing really great with sleep, water, and meditate. I can honestly say that I have seen improvement, and so it's just so strange because it's like you just sit there and you just sit there and you just breathe and you just notice your surroundings, and it's like magical. But I guess life just has a way of being like that, and it's the ultimate irony, because you think it's the most boring thing ever, but then it triggers something in you that because it is kind of boring. Like I have a difficult time. I have till this day, I promise you, but I've had also transcendental experiences while meditating. It's like you can tell why God is such a huge thing. I don't know. Maybe that's going a little bit too off, but I also think this when I see nature in some situations, that's like it just makes so much sense. Like this is so there's just this affecting your soul, your heart, your magnetic field. There's like an unseen, tangible thing that definitely exists. So you can tap into that stuff through sleep, water, meditation, habit tracking. After you go through your calendar and you plan and you see how would I like to allocate my time, you check out those habits. Like how is it? Do you want to actually do those things during your week? Put it on a habit tracker, make sure that you are holding yourself accountable. The way that I like to do it is I like to have it on paper. It's just more fun for me. I put it next to my bed and then I do it, in the night before. And then I put it on here on Excel and I can get it quantified so that I can see more on the long, visualize data is very fun for me. But it's just very good to notice, for example, sleep, water, meditate. I've been doing really good on those things. And my skincare, apparently, I've been doing well on. And I haven't really, this map is a work thing, so it's new, so of course it's going to be in the red. But you can tell here, you look at yourself, what you're doing, where you're going, it holds yourself accountable, and it also is a way to kind of like celebrate your victories. It's very satisfying when you have some, for example, in January, I had amazing sleeps, like so consistently, literally every day. I was shook. And you can also see sometimes when you have, for example, a month when you didn't really do very well at all, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a push for the next month to be like, okay, now I'm gonna get in line a little bit more. So yeah, that's basically it. Just wanted to come here and talk a little bit about time management. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit ranty and I go off on these tangents because it makes me think about all these things, right? When you contemplate how you're doing and where you're going, you contemplate processes, you contemplate frameworks, you contemplate your goals. And so, very useful journaling, once a month, do it, look back on your things, make sure that you have some fun doing it, like just enjoy life. Enjoy life. Make sure that you have all of your ducks in a row, so to speak. It's a framework, okay? It's a structure. You don't have to adhere to it super perfectly. You don't have to keep track of everything super diligently either. You just have to make sure that you have a place where you can look and it's going to inform you of what your next step is, or remind you how your past week felt, or just give you insight and a direction if you're ever feeling lost, or inspiration if you're ever feeling lost, or something to look forward to. So yeah, I hope this was useful and I will see you next time. If you like these kinds of videos about organization, about productivity, about, I'm very versed in the theory of all of these things, and I follow a lot of really amazing people that have taught me so much about accountability, about productivity, about organization, about becoming your higher self and fulfilling your purpose in the world. It's more than just spreading knowledge, it's spreading light as well. So I'm very grateful to be part of this community on YouTube. The people are so supportive and the creators are so amazing, and it gives me so much hope for the future to notice how good people are. How even in the comments, like the people that watch the videos, everyone is just largely supportive, because why would you waste your time watching someone speak if you don't like them? Although I do hope that I'm going to in the future be a little bit better at this, I promise. It's just me alone and I'm like starting this process. I just give myself these giant projects to do instead of making smaller things that I can. I promise that with time, I will become a better YouTuber for you. If I can make videos that people like and they want to hear me speak, I will do it. I will do it. I don't really like to be seen. I like sticking to my books and my my own projects. I would love to, hide behind someone really powerful and spotlighty, but I also recognize that it's gonna have to be me that says things. And so I don't feel like I'm a person that deserves to be heard. I don't think there's anything special about me, but at the same time, I know that I've learned things that I would like to share with people, and because they help me, right? And so if they help me, they can help other people, and I want to make sure that that knowledge is passed on before I myself pass on. So yes, long story long, I love you guys. If you stayed here for all of this, I love you very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Please let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you have any constructive feedback. I welcome absolutely everything, and thank you so much for sticking around.